In the gleaming corridors of Argentum Tower, where glass walls reflected power and money like mirrors of destiny, no one noticed the janitor. They never did. He moved quietly, pushing his mop across marble floors that cost more than his yearly salary, his head slightly bowed, his uniform faded from years of honest work. His name was Daniel Reed, though most people just called him Hey or didn't call him at all. He worked nights mostly, but sometimes early mornings too, whenever the building needed him. That morning felt different. The air was tense, the kind of tension you feel before something breaks. Board members were arriving early, lawyers whispering near elevators, security guards unusually alert. The CEO of Argentum Global, Victoria Hale, was expected to announce a billion-dollar merger that day. Her name alone could move markets. Her face appeared on magazine covers with words like fearless and untouchable. But none of that mattered when a small sound broke through the corporate silence, a child's sobbing footsteps echoing down the hall. Daniel looked up just in time to see a little girl, no more than 5 years old, blonde hair slightly messy, pink dress wrinkled as if she'd been running for her life. She wasn't looking for executives or security. She ran straight to him. She grabbed his leg with shaking hands, her tiny body trembling like a leaf in a storm. Her eyes were wide, filled with terror no child should ever know. "Please," she cried, her voice cracking, "they beat my mom, she's dying." The hallway froze. Conversations stopped. Phones lowered. People stared, unsure whether to intervene or step back, because this wasn't part of their world of schedules and stock prices. Daniel knelt instantly, without hesitation, meeting her at eye level. Years of being invisible had trained him to read people quickly, and this child wasn't lying. This was raw fear. "Hey," he said softly, his voice calm but firm, the kind of voice that steadies shaking ground. "What's your name?" "Emily," she whispered. "They hurt Mommy in the parking garage. She told me to run. I didn't know who else to go to." Daniel's jaw tightened, but his eyes stayed gentle. Somewhere deep inside him, a door opened, one he hadn't walked through in years. He stood up and looked around. Security was finally reacting, but too slowly. Executives murmured, unsure of protocol. Daniel didn't wait. He lifted Emily into his arms with surprising strength and turned toward the elevator. "Call emergency services," he said sharply, not asking, telling. The authority in his voice shocked people into motion. As the elevator descended, Emily clutched his shirt like a lifeline. "Is my mommy going to die?" she asked, her tears soaking into the fabric. Daniel swallowed. "Not if I can help it," he said. The word surprised even him. The parking garage was chaos when they arrived. A black luxury car sat at an angle, its door dented, blood smeared across the interior. Victoria Hale lay slumped in the driver's seat, barely conscious, her breathing shallow, her face bruised. 2 men had already fled, their footsteps echoing in the past. Daniel moved fast. He set Emily down behind a pillar with a security guard. "Don't move," he told her gently. "I'll be right here." Then he approached the car. The moment he saw Victoria's injuries, something shifted in him. His hands moved with practiced precision. He checked her airway, stabilized her neck, assessed internal bleeding by touch and observation alone. "Who are you?" a guard asked nervously. Daniel didn't answer. He tore a strip from his uniform, applying pressure exactly where it was needed, adjusting her posture to ease breathing. "She's in shock," he said. "Don't lift her. Keep her warm. Ambulance needs to hurry." Victoria's eyes fluttered open for a second. She looked at him, confused, terrified, then whispered, "My daughter." "She's safe," Daniel said immediately. "She found me." That seemed to calm her more than any medical reassurance. Sirens wailed in the distance. When paramedics arrived, they were startled to find the CEO stabilized better than expected. "Who did this?" one asked. Daniel finally stepped back, his hands stained with blood that wasn't his. "I did," he said simply. At the hospital, news spread like wildfire. The attack on Victoria Hale made headlines within minutes. Stock prices wobbled. Media gathered. But behind the scenes, doctors worked quickly, noting that the early intervention had saved her life. "Who applied the pressure?" a surgeon asked. "It was perfect." A nurse pointed down the hall where Daniel sat quietly on a plastic chair, Emily asleep against his shoulder. When Victoria woke hours later, battered but alive, her first request wasn't for lawyers or PR teams. "I want to see the janitor," she said. When Daniel entered the room, still in his work uniform, still trying to look smaller than he was, Victoria studied him carefully. "You didn't panic," she said. "You knew exactly what to do." Daniel hesitated. "I've had training," he replied. "Military," she guessed. He nodded. "Special operations. Combat medic. A lifetime ago." The room went silent. The most powerful woman in the building stared at the men who cleaned her floors. "Why are you a janitor?" she asked. Daniel looked at Emily, now awake and watching him with hero-wide eyes. "Because sometimes life doesn't go the way you plan," he said. "And because quiet work feeds my family without asking too many questions." Victoria closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, they burned with a new kind of fire. "They attacked me because I refused to sell my company to criminals," she said. "They thought fear would break me." She looked at Daniel again. They were wrong. Days later, as Victoria recovered, the truth came out. The attackers were tied to corporate espionage and organized crime. Arrests were made. The merger was postponed, but not cancelled. Instead, Victoria made an announcement that shocked the business world. At a press conference, standing with a brace and bruises still visible, she spoke clearly. "Power isn't measured by titles," she said. "It's measured by action when it matters most." Then she did something no one expected. She called Daniel onto the stage. Cameras flashed. Murmurs erupted. "This man saved my life," she said. "Not as a janitor. Not as an employee. But as a human being with extraordinary skill and courage." She offered him a position, not as a symbol, but as head of corporate security and crisis response. Daniel tried to refuse. He didn't want attention. He didn't want a spotlight. But then Emily hugged his leg again, just like that first moment. "Please," she said. "Stay with us." He accepted. Not for the money. Not for the title. But because sometimes, the quietest people are placed exactly where the world needs them most. And as Daniel stood there, once invisible, now unmistakable, the audience watching online heard one clear message beneath the drama: heroes don't always wear suits, or uniforms meant for praise. Sometimes they carry mops, and sometimes they carry secrets forged in sacrifice. If this story moved you, if you believe that courage can come from the most unexpected places, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because more powerful, real-feeling stories like this are coming, and you won't want to miss the next one.